What's going on, Dan K Show fans? Where'd Lucas go? Lucas is on the road right now, so I'm going to be throwing him in a bit, but for now, it's the Dan K Show all night long. Dan K, a little more Dan K, and Rowdy sitting in for the big guy, LJ. We'll be back with more Stick Around Dan K Show coming up next. Alright, it's time for Dan K's 3 things. We're going to talk about them a little more in the empty net at the end of the show. But thing number 1, congratulations to Alex Thomas, all-time beauty in the broadcasting game. One of the best broadcasters in a game of hockey, not just junior hockey. Getting a big-time role in charge of marketing and communications with an incredible organization, the Northern Cyclones. Thing number 2, a little article came out about those Northern Cyclones that Alex Thomas took a gig with, and things are coming up Cyclone right now. The most college advancements of any team in the country. How about them apples, as they say up there in that Boston region? Thing number 3, we're not talking about cap packing. We ain't talking about cap packing. We're talking about playoff time. It's playoff time. And before that, we congratulate Fort Wayne spaceman Jared Fisher on an incredible time. Talk about that in the empty net as well. Let's get into playoff time. As the NCDC rages toward those playoffs, we are into playoff time. It's postseason time in the Premier and Elite. And what I want to do is jump in and look at some of those juicy matchups from this weekend, because we've got a juicy amount of hockey right now. Starting with the top-seeded Northern Cyclones up there in that North region taking on the Junior Bruins. It's going to be a tough task for the Junior Bruins to try to deal with this Cyclones team. They score in bunches when they get rolling. I'd like to see them get a little bit more consistency going into the postseason for themselves. Good opportunity to get it going here. How about the New York-New Jersey rivalry of all New York-New Jersey rivalries? Last year, the Aviators played the role of spoilers in the Elite Division out here in the Mid-Atlantic region. This go-around, they get those Rockets Hockey Club again, and this is a rivalry. This is a battle royale when these two teams take the ice. They're both deep teams. Both have a lot of depth. They have great coaching staffs behind the bench. They know how to really work the game and get the most out of their rosters. Come playoff time, it's anybody's ball game. We are going to see how this one plays out. I look at this one as leaning the Rockets' way, but guess what? I picked against the Aviators last year in the Elite, and I was wrong there as well. Keep running through. Another matchup I want to point out. Richmond Generals hosting the Hampton Roads Whalers. A Whalers team that never loses, taking on a number 1 top-seeded, number 1 team in the country, Richmond Generals team, on their home rink. If you're the Generals, you got to look across the ice and you got to go, what's this? How are we getting punished for being the number 1 seed? Because this Hampton Roads Elite squad with guys like Evan Miles, with the depth on their squad, this team just continues to hang in and hang in. And every time you think, oh, they're going to hit the doldrums, this is not going to be the Hampton Roads year, they start to get a little momentum, and going into Richmond, all the odds stacked against them. It's hard to bet against this Hampton Roads Whalers team unless you look to the other side of the ice with guys like Simmons, with Bernie in net. This is a Richmond team that looks like it has gold medal written all over it this year. It has cup all over it, man. This Richmond Generals team, if you can find a way to beat them, man, you are going to have a lot of fun at Nationals. But Richmond, watch out, ladies and gentlemen. The Richmond Generals right now, Dan K's number 1 team in the nation in the USPHL Elite. And Tampa Juniors, this is a team that they're going to have to cut their teeth here against the Atlanta Mad Hatters. Atlanta Mad Hatters Elite squad, they've had their ups, they've had their downs, but they've given some some of the big dogs have had some trouble dealing with the Atlanta Mad Hatters. That should be an interesting series down there. And then Dan K's must-see, must-watch series of the weekend is a tie in the Elite. Number 1, it's going to be the Carolina Junior Canes taking on the Charlotte Rush. And this is a Rush side that I think in playoff time is going to have more depth than anybody else in the country. But this Carolina Junior Canes organization all year have just been pesky. They've hung around. They've given people troubles. They've given people fits. This series will be must-see. It will go the distance. I will guarantee you that right now. The tie with them, how about the Charleston Colonials, who have been a Dan K Show favorite all season long, taking on the Florida Eels? I'm putting the upset alert out now. I've got the Colonials. I think Seth Kotler and the boys from Charleston, I think Hunter Bishop figures it out in Florida at the stadium. I think they go out there and I think they go the distance with the Florida Eels, and I think that is our biggest upset of the weekend. Last year, we saw the Florida Junior Blades, a team that struggled all season long, start to piece it together the last few weeks of the year. They go into the postseason at the Premier level and upset the Tampa Bay Juniors, who seemed like they couldn't be beat at the Premier level last year. This year, I think it's the Charleston Colonials who play the role of the upset kings in the Florida division. You heard it here first. Let's keep moving now. Let's get into the juice, the juicy goose here in the Premier. Premier time and a premier matchup starts us off. Twin City Thunder take on the Boston Bandits starting Thursday. That's today. And this is a Twin City Thunder team at the Premier that early in the year looked like they were going to run away with this division. Then all of a sudden, here comes IHC, who don't lose games to anybody. That IHC Premier team's incredible. This Bandit squad, though, they have been so quiet, so silent in the Premier, but so silently good. They have not stopped at any point this season. This series has distance written all over it. We keep moving through, and the Midwest West is always a toss-up. It's a coin flip. And how about the all-Minnesota battle between the Mullets and the Moose, man? Antlers up for the Moose, hair flowing for the Mullets. This Mullets offense can score with anybody, but again, you want to talk about quietly doing things right. This Moose team has lately just figured it out. They slowed down mid-season, and it seemed almost like a NASCAR race, right? All the cars driving, everybody racing through, and all of a sudden that car disappears. He's a lap behind. All right, he's out of the race. Oh, pit stop. Comes back. Here he comes. And here come the Moose right now. They might just be the best team in the Midwest West today. This Moose team is unstoppable, unbeatable, unbelievable, as they say. We keep going. Come on now, my Decatur Blaze out there in the Midwest East. Watch out for those Decatur Blaze. I think it's going to be a big point weekend for them. Big goal totals. I think the offense is going to be firing on all cylinders in Decatur. How about Skipjacks versus the Jersey Hitmen? That Mid-Atlantic Premier Division has seen the biggest turnaround from day one to the final day of the regular season of any division at any level in any league in the country. You look at the Skipjacks, you look at the Aviators, you look at the Philadelphia Hockey Club, you look at the Rockets Hockey Club up there. Any one of these teams can win a national title, not just the Mid-Atlantic. They might be the most deep division other than the Southeast right now in the country. Southeast, Midwest, West, Mid-Atlantic right now have been absolutely beautiful. Beauties. We move to the other side of things in the Southeast. Let's go down I-95. Let's check out once again. They did it in the Elite. They'll do it in the Premier. The Richmond Generals and the Hampton Roads Whalers battling each other in the Premier now. I will tell you, somebody's going to be real disappointed in this, or it's going to be a draw. One side's going to win one side's going to win the other. But this is a Richmond Generals Premier team. They've got a lot to prove. They've got a lot to prove here, and this is a team that does not take anyone lightly. They get a chance to play on their home rink. They get a chance to take on a tough Hampton Roads Whalers squad, and they get a chance to make a statement before playoff time. So many times, folks, you look at a matchup like this to go to Nationals, and you say both of these teams could easily be at Nationals. I agree. So many times I hear folks talk about the schedule like, hey, this is such a tough matchup to get the postseason time. We got to battle through this. Well, guess what? This is where you make hay. If you want to win a championship, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. We say all the time, the Ric Flair woo. But if you want to win a championship, you're going to have to break some eggs, man. You're going to have to beat some tough teams. And the teams in the Southeast are going to be more battle-tested than anyone in the country right now. And this winner of the Richmond Generals Hampton Roads series, well, you might be putting a crown on their head in a few weeks because they are going to be through all of it by the time you get to the big one. The Hudson Havoc take on the Dells Ducks there. They're going to get that home series. River Kings take on the Blades out in the Midwest West. You continue battling through. Columbus Mavericks get a chance to host the Toledo Cherokee. That'll be an interesting up and down. There's going to be a lot of offense in that. And then finally, I'm going to say my most intriguing matchup of the weekend comes from the Midwest West. Rum River Mallards, Minnesota Blue Ox. This is a Blue Ox team that they're giant killers, right? And this is a Rum River Mallards team young coach in Tristan Jensen, a young squad, a couple of those veterans that they've built around it. And this Rum River Mallard side has had some incredible, amazing victories. They've had some losses that make you scratch your head. And they're taking on a Blue Ox team that tends to be giant killers. Upset City, upset alert being put on right now. Watch out for the Rum River Mallards this weekend against the Blue Ox. I think that the Blue Ox might take the series in the end, but I'm happy to put my Upset City alert on the Rum River Mallards this weekend. You heard it here first. Playoff time, ladies and gentlemen. I want to remind you, before I send it over to Lucas, I know he's waiting all the way somewhere. I got to put my binoculars on to find him. Rowdy, I promise you, he'll never replace you. You got it? I got to remind you, the Dan K Show will have its Tournament Pick'em Challenge. Once Nationals are set, we will be posting that link to that challenge on the Dan K Show Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You will be able to go there, make your selections, and number one, if you were the best fan selector at the Nationals, you will win one prize. I will show you that on next week's show. If you are number two, if you are better than myself and Mr. Lucas Jones, if you beat both of us in picks and you win, so you win outright, two prizes for you. One will be a little Dan K related, and one might be of the orange variety, let's just say. We're going to have some cool prizes for you. We're going to have so much fun coming down the pipe, but a guy who has even more for you, a little more playoff time. How about Lucas Jones? Take it away, Lucas.
You are watching The Dan K Show. Everything USPHL. From the NCDC to the Premier and Elite Leagues. The Dan K Show with Dan K and Lucas Jones.
Thanks, Dan. Still here in Studio B, ready to break down the 15U, 16U, and 18U USPHL Championship weekend events. What a high-flying weekend for these youth divisions. I mean, you're talking about some of the best skilled skaters, best defensemen, and best goaltenders that the USPHL has to offer, including, the start of that move up process. We always like to say that, these other leagues feed into the NCDC. Well, it starts here. It starts with what you learn in these leagues. And we'll start with the 15U division, the Palmyra Black Knights. Congratulations to them taking home the USPHL's 15U division championship. And it wasn't easy for Palmyra. Even though they've been at or near the top all season long, they had to come from behind against the eminently skilled Utica Junior Comets. Trailing late in the third period, they were able to take the lead and eventually win the game 4-3. A little bit of a back and forth game for the entirety of this one, and you could almost see it coming. Two of the best teams in that 15U division, certainly the two best teams during that playoff run, or that playoff tournament run there. So you almost kind of expected this clash of the Titans moment between these two squads. And it really only came on the stick of Sebastian Keeley. Sebastian Keeley was an offensive leader for this Palmyra team, 25 points during the regular season. Not just the game-tying goal, but the game-winning goal off the stick of Keeley. Talk about showing up in a huge situation. Sebastian Keeley, a leader during the regular season, and not just a leader in the playoffs, but someone sent from above, it seems, to help this Black Knights team take home a championship. And you got to give it up to the Utica Junior Comets as well. They did a phenomenal job this season, a great job during the playoffs. And Matt Carner as well. He had 9 points in 4 games this weekend, 5 goals, 4 assists for the Junior Comets. That's the kind of performance you build off of. That's the kind of performance that lays the bedrock for an incredible hockey career down the road. Let's keep moving on to the 16U division, where the Rockets Hockey Club won the national championship in the 16U division. And of course, you talk about game-winning goals. Game-winning goals and Gregory Spitznagel, those two things seem to go hand-to-hand. A power play on the 9:26 mark of the third period was the game-winning goal for Gregory Spitznagel, talking about how it was a team effort all the way. You had guys who were feeding the puck. You had guys that were feeding off the energy. This is exactly what this Rockets Hockey Club team has been about all season. It's about creating your own opportunities, taking what the other team gives you, and finding a way to get it done in the crunch time situations. After scoring 11 goals on that Sunday, it only took one. As I like to say, if you do it right, You only need to score one goal. So congratulations to the Rockets Hockey Club on winning the 16U National Championship. Let's go over now to the 16U American Division champions, the Springfield Picks. The Springfield Picks are another class organization from top to bottom. We've interacted a lot with their elite and their premier squads, but you look down at this 16U level, you look at what this organization is able to do in terms of building up their talent, building up their players, and laying out a roadmap for success down the line. The Springfield Picks are certainly one of the class organizations in the USPHL. And then on Championship Sunday, the 16U Springfield Picks were able to complete a playoff sweep of Rockets Black with a 6-2 win in the championship game. Dominic Balboni had 2 goals, Richard Pergalis had 2 goals and assists, Mattis Hadazovsky, Carter Hanrahan each had a goal and an assist, and then Andrej Julinek. Now this is a goaltender who through this season has been sort of the rock of this team, and it's one of those things where you can talk about the offense, you can talk about the defense, and when you find that you can't decide which side of the ice brought the Springfield Picks to the American Division Championship, you just have to say, well, it's both. The offense feeds off the defense and the goaltending. The offense is able to trust that their goaltending and defense are able to handle these situations from some very talented teams. And the goaltending and the defense can rely on those forwards to protect them, to crash the net, to keep the zone free, and to not allow the opposing team's offense to really gain a foothold in the Springfield Picks defensive zone. I think that's one of the best things about this Springfield Picks 16U squad. It truly is a team effort from top to bottom. You can roll out every single cliche you want about 4 lines deep and the depth of the team, but it is absolutely true with this Springfield Picks squad. Now let's go to the 18U Championship, and we find ourselves with a familiar name in a bit of an unfamiliar situation. The familiar name, the Jersey Hitmen. Jersey Hitmen, first place in the NCDC as of right now. The Jersey Hitmen, you talk about class organizations, premier organizations. The NCDC version of the Hitmen is just so incredible year after year. The organization as a whole really buys into the development. Dan and I have talked so many times about how when you start off on the 16U, 18U Hitmen, if you buy into the program will buy into you. And there's been so much movement throughout the history of this program. Guys getting developed, guys moving up, guys moving on. So you got to give credit where credit's due to the Jersey Hitmen organization from top to bottom. But let's talk for a minute about this 18U team. You go to USPHL.com, you can read the phenomenal summary articles that were written about these playoffs, and I think it doesn't get put any better than the first line from this article, that for the second time in less than 8 hours, nothing was ever certain for the Jersey Hitmen 18U team until the final buzzer sounded. And folks, if that doesn't wrap up, and if that doesn't summarize what the game of junior hockey is all about, I don't think anything does. The Hitmen were able to get past the CP Dynamo, such a talented squad with a 4-2 win, and CP Dynamo, you talk about how good they are. For the Hitmen to be able to beat them and then just to make it to the championship game. Now you have to go win another game against just as talented Skipjack's Hockey Club. It was a defensive battle, folks, and I love my defensive battles. These two teams were neck and neck. They were locked down, but the Hitmen were able to pull out another razor-thin victory, this time with a score of 2-0 to claim that 18U championship. You talk about Aiden Greco. Aiden Greco's been one of those leaders on and off the ice all season long, and of course gives it up to his teammates about moving the puck pretty well, getting some good shots on net. And that's what it is, right? These players, these stars, they make it sound so simple. We just got to move the puck. We just got to get shots on net. But you watch these kids play, and the way they play is anything but simple. Folks, that's a wrap on the 15U, 16U, 18U seasons. We absolutely cannot wait to see what these divisions bring to us next season in terms of talent, in terms of excitement, in terms of just how entertaining it is to watch the future of the game of hockey. And really, the USPHL 15U, 16U, and 18U divisions is one of the best places to watch the future of hockey development. But right now, it's time to move back to Dan for the Empty Net.
Welcome to the Empty Net. Welcome to the Empty Net, the best portion of every show where I get to talk to you, the fan, Dan K, and you. We look around the country here and we see some great stories coming in. Number one, How about a 100-point scorer there, Jared Fisher? This guy was fishing for goals, and he came up with nothing but gold, man. Jared Fisher is solid gold out there with the Fort Wayne Spacemen, a guy who made a trip out, bet on himself, took a chance with the Spacemen, and he has been major down to goal control all season long. Congratulations to Jared Fisher, and saw you on the local news there, bud. Not a big deal there, buddy. Okay, let's keep going, though. We look at Alex Thomas again. We congratulate one of the biggest beauties in the game of broadcasting, Alex Thomas. The Northern Cyclones didn't just get a great, they got a GOAT. This is the greatest of all time in Alex Thomas. Can't wait to see him down the road in Hudson, New Hampshire. We keep moving through a little more from you. We have some fun coming in out of Richmond here because it is playoff weekend down there. They're going to be hosting the postseason. Tickets just $12 for the weekend. Get out there, get to the building, get to the rink. Skate Nation Plus, a great rink, beautiful little setup there. A lot of good restaurants around. Get out there, check out the Southeast playoffs. And with that, I look at you and I say, thank you for watching the Dan K Show. I don't know if you guys saw us at the TSCHL tournament out there in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky. We were out there in our old Kentucky home, fast horses and strong spirits, and we had a hockey spirit brought to that land. And if you want the Dan K Show to cover your tournament, your team, reach out to us. It's www.dankshow.com. There are some huge things coming down the pike. We have some huge things to pitch to the folks at home and the folks around the world. And we are going to be changing the game of hockey day in and day out. Thank you so much for watching each and every week. It's playoff time, boys. Time to make that hay. When Dan K's on the mic, it's always hockey night. It's so different here, folks, without Lucas. I don't even know how to close the show because normally we have a conversation. Rowdy.
Yes.
You think it's time to end the show?
I think it's time. I think you should fire Lucas. Why did the guy not show up?
Rowdy, he's going to edit this. He could just edit this out.
Fire him. I'll edit it.
You don't even have fingers.
Oh.